Hey, sociology students, it's Ian Gordon here from the Brock Library. I'm actually a science librarian, but I'm filling in through 2020 for my colleague, liaison librarian Laurie Morrison, who is a sociology librarian, is on sabbatical and leave, but returns to Brock in January 2021. Until then, I'm glad to help you with answering questions, dealing with difficulties, or just be helping you to be a better researcher, a writer, and a better student as you move forward as well. Today's presentation is for this particular course. We're going to concentrate on news sources, news databases, and ways of searching the news. But at the end of this presentation, which you can have the PowerPoint slides, and you can go through this video again, I'm going to do 3 searches for sociology and show you how to combine databases. I'll do another search in Omni to show you an important peculiarity. It may not be evident to you that will help you to improve your searching. And go through Web of Science and show you the power of citate reference searching. So I'll go through those 3 things, but first the presentation that we have here. Here's one of the things that you're looking for. It's the reading list and project proposal that you need to do. So you need to locate 5 to 8 Canadian mainstream newspaper articles. And your professor has indicated example sources, and there are many of them. Many of them fall within print newspapers, but many are newswire, and many of them are news feeds and Twitter and social media. So newspapers is kind of an old world terminology, but it certainly works for this particular assignment. You have a date range and a subject area to go through, so hopefully we'll show you how to do that as well. As you move forward, your assignment task is listed here. So not only do you have to find these news-related articles, but you also have to find scholarly peer-reviewed articles. Now, I can only assume, since you've made it this far, you know what peer-reviewed is, and you know the database, you know how to search. But I'm going to show you a few things you need as well. But the world changes from time to time, and there are some new things that I may be able to add to you as well. So here's our homepage. It's a starting point for most things. Look at it. Under the Use the Library tab is the interlibrary loans and the databases that are listed here. And the Research Help are all our new videos and guides and help resources to help you with citations and formatting style and things like that as well. Our news is listed here, so that's important to keep on track of what's open, not open, especially during this pandemic. Can you borrow books? Yes, you need to request them in advance and then pick them up. Can you request materials from print resources we have in our library, like chapters of books or papers from edited books? Yes, you need to request those, and they will be digitized and sent to you as well. And slowly we're opening up for physical spaces in the library, but I'm sensing that most people in this program and most undergraduates and graduate students are not near the campus and working from their home location as well. So check for those new things, because things are changing daily as well. Omni is here, and a number of tools as well, but when you click on our homepage, the most important thing that we have is the research guides by program. So I'm going to click on those, and brings up the Sociology Research Guide. It's an important source, and though it tabs and bookmarks certain resources, it's there for you to use, and it gives you a heads up, first step knowledge on things and changing things in sociology. As you'll see, here's my email address that's listed here, and book a consultation. Even in the 4th year, you can do this. It's really important so that we can work together. Questions I get when we book a consultation: can you show me how to use a citation management software system like Zotero and how it works and how to set it up and make it work? I'm having trouble finding thesis or data. I don't have a data management plan for the tools that I'm working with. We can help you with that. Or there's things that aren't working for me that I sense that there's other resources that aren't available in the Brock Library, and we can go through those as well. So book a consultation or email me at any particular time. There's a number of tabs that are here: books and ebooks, journal articles, news articles, background information or reference materials, theses or dissertations, and a number of writing and citing tabs. Let's go through the writing and citing tab just quickly as well. On this tab, you'll see that there's guides here, including a list of all citation management site system tools. Other tools that you want: the ASA guides. This one here, which is really great, the ASA style guide, is only available paper. It's on reserve in our library, which may not help anyone right now. But there's quick tip guides and the Purdue guide that helps you right here. And Zotero is the database citation management system I suggest. I provided good links for that as well. At the bottom of this particular page, there's books here that'll help you to be better writer, researchers, or better think of how to do sociology. They're all but one, I think, in digital format, so you can look at them, including this one, Writing for Emerging Sociologists. There's a chapter on writing, graduate school, and beyond. Really neat stuff. I went through these, and here's some chapters or edited pages or books or articles in these, like the effective use of words, tips on writing theory and content papers, thinking reflectively, that was a really neat paper, and threats to reliability, things that threaten you as a researcher, a writer, or a novice researcher, and moving forward and being appropriate, especially from a sociological perspective. So check out all those writing and citing tools. And if you come across one that we do not own, email me. Email me and say, can we have this book in digital format? Or I found this valuable, others would as well. I would probably buy it and put it in our library collections as well. Welcome to Sociology. There's other guides and tabs here. Journal articles. Well, you have to find journal articles. I can only assume you know how to do that. There are many journal databases. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a one-stop shop for all of sociology? But sociology is geography, it's economics, it's politics, it's human nature, behavior. So there'll probably be a while before we have one meta-database. And so there's a number of tools like Google Scholar, ProQuest Sociology, Academic Search Premier. All databases, kind of like the news databases, have unique content in each one. They all search differently. They have different algorithms. But when linked to our holdings, you have a large percentage of the sociology you'll ever covered here. You just may have to go in more than one place to search and use different search strategies as well. It says at the bottom there's over 35 sociology databases that are linked. You may want to browse for those for things like government documents, legal information, justice information or data. There's more than one database. A good question sometimes I get from sociology is, what databases might I search to find information on? And you fill out beyond the obvious ones that are here as well. If we go back to the guide, I'm going to go to the news articles, which is the reason why I'm coming to you today. Just as there's scholarly databases, which sometimes has news, however you define it, but the news article databases, which sometimes has scholarly journals in it, has a number of databases as well. Some of these you may have used, some of them you haven't used, but these are live links that you can use for your research. The trick is what keywords work best, such that I don't get too many articles, or I don't get too few that I miss things of peripheral interests. Language, as you know, is powerful, and the keywords you use directly results and affects what source of articles you get. So managing and manipulating, writing down and modifying the keywords you use to search is really important, especially on the subject or genre that you're looking for. Some searches are pretty easy. The one I'll choose I thought was pretty easy. Some are difficult, but again, you're the experts. You know what words and keywords. I guess you kind of scratch your head and say, am I getting too much and too little, and how do I modify my search? And we can help you with that as well. Top 10 Canadian newspapers. This is just a website. So you're searching for news. There's 10 by circulation, top 10 newspapers in English, however we defined it. And they all have links there. So what I did was I went through some of them I thought that were important, because some of the articles here aren't caught in some of the databases. Most of them are. So I went to the Montreal Gazette and I searched for racism and I put in brackets pandemic or COVID or coronavirus. I didn't even spell it right. Over the last year, and that actually gave me about 12,000 articles, but yet they were narrowed down. I've narrowed the most relevant. The neat thing about finding these is when you find the articles, it gives you the pictures and stories. Not all news databases do. It gives you links and resources to other things as well. Again, these would qualify for news articles for this particular assignment. Go to Google News. If you've never used that before, it's here as well. And I used this particular search strategy, Canada. I truncated Canada with a shift 8 asterisk, picked up any word with that root. And again, I put in coronavirus typed in properly, COVID or pandemic, and racism over the past year. And it found a number of stories. And again, it found things that were unique. Isn't it a great database? But it links to our holdings to find things that you find in full text here. Interesting source. Here's an article I found, Black neighborhoods in Toronto are hit hardest by COVID-19. And I saw it all this place, but it's from Global News. Who would have thought that TV, Global News, would be a news source? And it provides a video and content and actually quite neat statistics that you could follow as well. Newspapers. Omni is an important database. You use it for searching journal articles and scholarly content and books and ebooks and streaming video. It's like our one-stop shop. But there's a newspaper component at the bottom, or in the link of those particular databases, you can search news. And it's a pretty simple interface. So I had to put it all on one screen. I put race, racism, racist, words starting with that root, and I used capitals to understand the logic. And I put in brackets, pandemic, or, and this is one thing about Omni, I'll show you again. Your logical linkers have to be in capitalized. So ORs in capitals, or it'll screw up all the logic and not give you a good search. And Canada or Ontario, Toronto or Ottawa, because I got too many, and I still got 424 results. It tells you where they're coming from, and it lists them. You can tag them and put them into a folder, and then send them to a citation management system, or see that they're there. If you ever come across an article that says we don't own it, or come across an article on Google or any other modified tool, always go back to Omni to see whether we have it or not. 9 times out of 10 we will, but there will be chances you may want to use interlibrary loans and find that article you'd kill for, whether it be a news article using interlibrary loans from another library. You don't have to know where it is. We get it for you. It takes 3 to 5 days and usually doesn't cost anything. So for articles that you think you really need to be not own, we can get them for you. Remember that you can link the journal titles here. It tells you what sources, and you can click on those journal sources as well, or news sources. So here's an article I found. Toronto's marginalized communities disproportionately affected by virus data. The word race or racism isn't in the title, so sometimes you modify your search based on what words and keywords you use and where they are in the article. Other things like searching CBCA, Canadian Business and Current Affairs, and Canadian Major Dailies together, so you can put those two together, and I'll show you how to do that. You should search the Canadian Periodical Index. That's what CPI is separately. It provides unique content that isn't anywhere else, so that's important. So you're doing more than one search, or replicating a search and modifying for each particular database. A must search is Nexus, Uni, and Factiva. We'll show you about that in a minute. So again, Canadian Major Dailies and CBCA, search together. CPIQ, search separately, and Nexus, Uni, and Factiva, search separately. They all have different search interfaces and provide unique content. They're quite amazing databases. Here's a search from CBCA and Canadian Major databases together. I found 188 articles. I sorted them by relevance, and I looked at words and titles. I thought, since news articles do not necessarily have subjects like journal articles or keywords or authors' research keywords, you really have to put words. And since there's so much information, sometimes the power of the article is the words in the title or the headline of the article itself. So I look for all the articles with the title race or racism or racist, put the truncation key in. I did the same thing and just browsed through the 188. Serendipity is still a research methodology. You may say, 188 in the last year. Do I go through them all? Well, just browsing. And then you tick off and put it into a folder. And then you take those articles and you send them to a citation management system, or you just look at them in full text and download the full PDF. So browsing still works. Modifying your search still works. But again, news content usually doesn't have subjects. So you're looking for words and titles. Now it precludes that all articles on your topic have those words in the title. That's necessarily the case. So it's a gray area of how to search. Words and titles is a good way to find 3 or 4 articles that may be important. Because if the concept is important and the words you've chosen, they've used to put in the title are important, you'll capture those articles as well. Hopefully that makes sense. Here's an article I got. Racism thrives during COVID-19 pandemic. Full text, it's from the Winnipeg Free Press. Nexus Uni was a near search. It provides same day, full text, international, including some Canadian content as well. It's an amazing database. It's a business database. It's Nexus for news on the stock market, international newswire newspaper from around the world. Now we're looking at Canadian data, but it pulls all that information full text real time, so it's all articles are in full text, and it's updated every second, so it's always current and has a back file as well. So here's a search I did. I looked in the headline of the title of the article. The truncation key in Nexus is an asterisk. I don't know why they did it. So racism, in the title or headline of the article. This word, the word Canada, has to be somewhere. And the article has to be over 1,000 words, or the text length long. It pulls up longer articles, which are usually more important. When I clicked on the sources, and there's many ways to filter, here's from that search where they're coming from. And I can click on these, but the Toronto Star, the Calgary Herald, Canadian Press, and sometimes the same story published by the Canadian Press has been reprinted, maybe called a different title in other newspapers as well. So you may see the same article in different places as well. In Nexus Uni, narrow by words and headlines or titles. Use the truncation key, it's the asterisk, and you can limit by length, meaning I want longer rather than shorter articles. But you can always use the filters of news, geography, Canada, timeline, last 12 months, publication type, meaning news, and searching the logic to and or using your keywords as well. Again, this may be tricky for you because it's not standard and it's not, I wouldn't say it's not easy, it's just different, and I can help with that as well. Factiva is a different type of database. They're different. This one's put out by Dow Jones, which is a huge organization, and it has an easier search interface. So I search my terms. Again, the truncation here is the shift 8 asterisk, and I use the brackets for logic. I just search for words in the last year in English from the region Canada, and I turn duplicates off, meaning they perceive what articles are the same but have been reprinted and slightly changed, and they take out so you don't see the same article 6 times. And I got a number of articles. I got 271 articles. 68 of them were in the news, and it tells you where they're from, the subject area, and the companies or the sources they're coming from as well. You click off and mark them and look at the full text. You can print, download, email, or send them again to a citation management system like Zotero. Really important. The sources they use here, because people may be talking about, I say, racism dealing with the pandemic that aren't Canadian news stories. Per se from those organizations, but they may be applicable. So here's an article. Anxieties over racism heightened for many Black Canadians in COVID-19 isolation. It's a Canadian Press Newswire article. That's right here, full text download. So Factiva, kind of like Nexus Lexis, search free text, narrow by region, Canada, narrow by more options, meaning words in headlines or titles, or headlines in the lead paragraph because there are no subjects, but you can limit by date within the last year and turn the duplicates off. It's kind of annoying. So here's the notes and research. There's lots of databases to search. Some are easy and obvious, but once you go through, and I suggest you go through them in the order I have suggested, you'll refine your keywords and you'll get a sense of I have too many or too little and how to filter or narrow those down. But don't rule out browsing. News comes in so many different formats and sources and places. There's so many different databases, but they all have unique content. So yeah, it's unavoidable to search most, if all of them. Some news is free, meaning like the top 10 newspapers, but most is subscribed to by the library. So never pay for anything. Always check to see whether we have it or not. And use interlibrary loans. If you find something that's ready to kill for, we can get it for you. Search news doesn't use subjects. So you're using words and proximity, words and titles and formats and the combinations of words. So remember your Boolean logic, anding and oring. Use your keywords. The language is so powerful. The words you use for certain topics may be difficult to pull together, but that's the craft of online searching, not to find too much, not to find too little, but being knowledgeable. You usually find out whether I'm getting things when you meet your requirements of finding 5 or so news articles, or you keep seeing the same things over again, independent of the database that you search. Browse stories, serendipity is encouraged. It's amazing how you'll go down, you go, interesting. Let's look at education or health or indigenous peoples, all those sorts of issues that deal with a pandemic. Use a citation management system. If you haven't figured out, download it and use a citation management system by 4th year, that's the only reason to email me or book a consultation so we can figure that out for you. Because once it's set up, it saves your life. And work with each other identifying articles if you're working in groups, because you'll find 2 and somebody else will find 2 and you may find the same one amongst 3 or 4 of you, but you can learn from each other of how you searched, where you searched, and the articles that you found as well. The Brock Library Sociology Writing and Citing Resources. Remember how to be a better writer, researcher, and student. Book a consultation and email. I'm here for you. We can help. So those are the things that I was to look for. Good luck with this interesting assignment, and thanks for allowing me to share. Oh, and this picture came from Unsplash. If you ever want a photograph, there's lots of places to get photographs that you can use, but Unsplash is the best. It provides the best quality, the high density pictures, allows you to cite them, and includes things that are always free, and you can search through the database. I searched the word protest and found this particular image. Free to use it as long as I cite it. It's appropriate to do that as well. So good luck with your assignment. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over, allow me to escape here, to the Brock News page. So I'm going to click on Home in my library, and here's the Brock page. Do you know to search in the library page? That's live as well. Omni is right there to search for. And there's three things I wanted to do for it. One is let's go to the Sociology Research Guide. Browse down through here. And Sociology is right here. Book a consultation, know who I am. We'll go to the Journal Articles database. There's a number of tools where you can combine databases together if they have the same search engine format. ProQuest Sociology is one. So when I'm searching for journal articles, I always search this database. But what I do is I also search and click on Change Databases. So I'm searching this one database, it knows that. But if I click on, I can add additional databases. Business. Oh, I don't want business. Sometimes you may. CBCA, we're including Canadian business and current affairs because it has scholarly content as well. Education, nursing, periodical archives. I would suggest every time you do a sociology search for this or any other assignment, add politics. Politics, it'd be nice if you could add economics and geography and gender studies. You can't do that, but for this suite of databases, you can add political science. There's a sociology content. And when you're done with at the end of this particular selection, you can use selected databases. So when you go and you do a search, it says, I have 3 databases I'm searching at one. So you can go ahead. Racism or discrim. And what it does is it actually includes the terms that other people have used, that most powerful searches. So let's search for that. Let's search, and we want discrimination in COVID. Or unlike Omni, you can use upper lowercase or and here. COVID or pandemic or coronavirus, and you can look for them and do a search, and you can always add another row as you want as well. So I'm searching 3 databases all at once, and you can use the same filters. So I found 1,496 articles. At any time you can browse articles, and you can say, oh, I want to put that on the marked list and then get it later. Or if you want to, you can sort and change your search strategy to search by relevance, or flip it so that you can search for the most recent first, as you know. Or you can say, I use the filters, the scholarly journals, and you can narrow down and browse through and put things into a folder. At the end of your folder, it remembers how many you've captured, brings them all up here. I've got 1, but I could have 10, I could have 40, and then you can send them to a citation management system, email them, download them, or print them as you want. So combining databases. You can do this in other databases like CBCA for news. Ask if you think you want to know how to do that as well. So that's how to combine the databases. I wanted to search Omni as well, so I'll go back to the home page. And I kind of suggested this as well. When you search Omni, it's a meta search engine. You don't know what it's searching, kind of like Google or Microsoft Academic, all of those databases as well. But when you search and use the advanced search feature, remember when you're putting in your terms, any field, let's look for titles. Let's put the word race. It remembers what we have. But if we want to add another term, another field in a title for the word pandemic. Remember, O-R in capitals. It's hard to remember this, but that's what you need to do to get a good search, or that just screws up the logic. Pandemic or COVID, caption on caps, words with or, spelling does count, or coronavirus. And then instead of looking for books or articles, we know we're looking for articles. Almost everything's in English, but hey, let's go ahead and ask for this as well. And you can always add another line and search more specifically. I found how many articles, and then you can highlight them. This particular database, you can search by relevance and filter by subject, what we're looking for as well. Lots of articles, but you can add things, and here's the add button, to a marked list, kind of like we did for other databases as well. Then at the end of your search strategy, once you've signed in, it remembers who you are, and it brings up those articles that you've recorded as well. And also your requests, your favorites, you can add and run searches at any particular time. The most important thing about Omni is not only the tools to send and save and print citations, but it's this OR logic. That's important. See, I got it wrong there. OR. to do it right. The last thing I'm going to show you is a database search as well. So here's the guide for sociology, and here's the journals articles databases. Anytime you find an article, some databases provide cited references searching. What I'm going to do here is add Web of Science database. So here's the core collection, core journals in science. It actually puts saved my term here. Let's do a search. So when you do a search and you find a number of records, how many did I find? 148. You can sort them by date, meaning in reverse chronology order. So new to old or old to new. Times cited, meaning how many times in this database it's been cited. Usage count is kind of neat. Most databases don't allow you to do this. How many times it's been touched or used. Kind of like time cited. Relevance, meaning related to the keywords and strategies that you've used. There's other tools that you can use, but I like finding an article. Let's say you come across an article and then you can mark them and put them in a list and just download those individual articles or look at them and browse for them as well. If you find an article that may be of interest, let's say this one, you can look at not only the articles that were included in this particular cited in this article, but the cited references. So 87 times since this article was written in 2017, and I'll click on this. It gives you a live link, then ranks all those articles. So it's a way of tracking who is reading and citing this literature. That's really important to follow up of how something is being used, how something is being cited, and it gives you an idea. Now you can take these and then list these by time cited. Here's this article that's been published in 2018. It's been cited 154 times since then. You'll find just amazing numbers. It kind of senses what articles are being well used, well read, and another way of searching beyond sorting by relevance or date or just browsing or serendipity as well. So there you go. Let's go back to the Brock Library homepage. So remember, ask if you think you need assistance. I'd be glad to help you. Email me or book a consultation. But good luck with this assignment. Interesting assignment. Thanks for letting me into your class. All the best.